Hello, everybody. We turn on my mic. There you go. Yeah, good evening and hello to all viewers. Watch later and give some comments, likes, and all will be accepted here. All welcome. And let's start reading about the life at its best. Yesterday, I started that agenda, start from God and His attributes. So today I'm going to continue with the God and attributes. The topic one was God's divine business. So we have to memorize or aware of what is God's divine business. Business is in general something, items to be sold, or in the business maybe something, items to manufacture or some items to create with the help of some people. So here in the God's business, God himself is the proprietor of this entire creation. So before reading these statements, what is called God's divine business, so we have to understand some technicality behind what is called God's business. So this is not a human operatable business. It is the Paramatma who created this entire world, entire universe, is responsible to operate the entire creation. So it is his business. It is not human business, normally speaking. Okay. So when you look at the background, it looks like general people, like whatever, whoever managing some sort of business, which is gives you some output, some income, some loss, some shares, right? So that those are all human related. The limited minds, we are all human, limited minds, we can do that. But here in this case, the God business, it is totally God's, his own proprietorship. He manages and he can create leadership to manage the entire universe. So it is also given, like Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. In the same way, it is the responsibility, it's a responsibility given to the souls who have authority, who have liberated, attained to the level of beyond state of God. Okay, it is obviously human, right? Human have the capacity, the mental capacity, the brain capacity, that they can understand God consciousness, and then after several births and deaths, at some point the consciousness evolves from the human, that I am God state. Okay, so the generally speaking, that business, how they are handing hand to hand, like transforming hand to hand. It is not transformed just like normal transfer transaction what human does. Here it is handed hand to hand. Only the perfect, supreme, and who is capable of handling all that God's business. Okay, that is why God is also stated that he has a liabilities and assets. Okay, so here the goal of the God business is to goes on eternally turning his liabilities into assets. So that is what we started yesterday reading about. Somebody liked my video. Thank you for joining. I don't have any clue who is joining here. So in this case, I haven't managing. I'm not managing here. Participants I can see here. Yeah, but no participants are joined. But I see the likes. That's pretty interesting. Okay, so let's move on. Very important topic today. The real gift. After his managing his business, what we are expecting is that the gift given by God, or is that the gift we offer something else to that? That is the all look like a common people discussion, but this has a philosophy of the truth. Okay, remember this looks like a general speaking. What is the real gift? What is meant by the real gift? In my perspective, or in generally, if I ask anybody here, what is the real gift? Means once the gift is given, that is not taken back, or it will not be received back, like without any hesitation. So once you give the gift, forget it. Okay, but it happens several times, like if you give a gift to your friends or gift to your birthday parties or any family members like that, you don't take that back normally. But here in this case, is a gift from the God. Okay, what is that? If a gift is to be real, then both the giver and receiver of the gift must forget the transaction completely, or transaction completely. So giver and receiver. Giver should forget that once he give the gift in a right hand, and he should forget, or he should forget that whatever the gift, it might be a small amount, it might be a large amount. If that is, if in your mind, if you state that as a gift, then there is no way that you can get it back. And there is a way, but if you don't say that is a gift, so that you have to, like people loan money, right? The financial institutions loan money, that is not a gift. You have to repay that money. But here the gift is, whoever the giver and the receiver should forget the transaction, and transaction completely means, completely is a statement that has a word that the completely means even you should not remember one day or 2 days or next year. So it is completely forgettable. To forget completely would mean that the giver would not feel he has given, and the receiver should not know he has received. Right? See, this is how the forget means. Here is elaborating. The simple word forgetting means even the giver should forget that I have given some gift to somebody. Keep on saying that I gave you some gift for you, or that might be good gift. So like, just embracing, saying keep each and every time when you see that person, that is not a good idea. So the giver also should forget, and the receiver also should forget that I received a grand gift from my friend. I have to repay that now. You don't think of that. You don't think of that what he has given. But the forgetfulness, is that a fair to forget one who gift? But in human language, it feels like it is not fair. But in truth, it is perfectly all right. So there is no harm in forgetting the gift what your friend gave you, or you gave it to your friend, something like that. Okay, so giver and receiver should forget. Very simple. If the giver does not forget, then he has obligated the receiver. If the receiver does not forget, he experiences a sense of obligation towards the giver. So, generally speaking, so the obligation is one of the judgment word. Obligation is, comes in any kind of aspects like obligation, right? So, what we consider in the dictionary meaning, if this obligation, right? Obligation is, yeah, let me take this as obligation and find a correct meaning. What is the behind obli? So an act of, so if the dictionary, if I refer that obligation, the word obligation, an act or course of action to which a person is morally or legally bound, a duty of, or a commitment, right? The duty. There is a charge. If you say that the obligation here, when if the giver does not forget, then he has obligated the receiver. Means he has something to pay back, like he feel like I have to return that, or something legally bound or duty or commitment. Okay, he has given me some, he keep on remembering he gave me such a good gift. I have to give him a very good gift, or I have to offer him something valuable to the same gift. Similar, like, think about that. So we have to understand, so that the gift giver or the receiver, there should not be any obligation. There should not be any conditions that you have to return, or the receiver, if the receiver obligated, there is a problem. And if the giver obligated, that means there is another problem. Like, here the is also experiences a sense of obligation towards the giver. Both are still, that bondage is continued to have the obligation between the giver and the receiver. So you have to understand, the giver and the receiver, there should not be any obligation. So that becomes a real gift. The real gift of love bestowed on man comes from God alone. And remembrance is absent in both the one who give and one who receive. Right? So God has given this life. In this case, God has given this life. That means there is, God has forgot. Like, He gave this life, and He gave this opportunity to serve people, serve the God, but there is no way that God will remember. Once even He has created the entire universe, in that case also, that human, he is not to have any obligation in this case. Hmm? So if the God forgetting, and you don't have to, you even human should have that, in the sense it is saying that God alone is the one who gives the gift. So feeling like, you are not offering anything gift to God. And even if you say that he is not you are not offering, that means there is no way that he is receiving whatever the gift he has given. We don't have that level of gifts to prepare for God. There is no way that we can prepare. Okay, do you think prayer to the God is a gift? Or do you think the puja, whatever, or any offerings that you offer to God, or any sacrifice you do to the God, or anything that you do, yoga, hmm, meditation, is that a gift? No, not at all. In my opinion, those are all, for your liberation purpose. You can practice in your, the spiritual practice that becomes a sadhana. That is not a gift. There is no gift you can prepare for God. God has given a tremendous, a very beautiful life, in the way that beautiful life can understand the God is only the gift we can give. So understand the truth is only the gift. There is nothing other than, like, a material gift is not preferable, or you cannot offer him a prayer. Even if you offer the prayer, that is for your own benefit only. There is nothing gods can benefit from your prayer, from my prayer. Prayer is only for your sense gratification, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, like any scriptures also. So here, this totality of the spirituality is based on all spiritual literatures. Name it, you can name it as all spiritual literatures, meaning it is a Bible, it is a Quran, it is a Bhagavad Gita, it is Ramayana, it is Mahabharata, it is Guru Grantha Sahib. You keep on naming any literatures. Vedanta, right? Shiva Purana, Vedanta Purana. You can make many names for that. The background is totally all come to the same ocean. So that way, God alone can give the gift, and remembrance is about in both the one who gives and the one who receives. Okay, so the God is the only ultimate here, the real gift of love bestowed on man comes from God alone, and remembrance is absent in both the one who gives and one who receives. We forget that God has given this life, and we forget. And God has created this life, and he forget. He creates, he keep on creating. He is not only one person he created. He is not only one materially created. He created millions, trillions, countless materials. When we look at in our visualization, in this our visual eye, we have certain limits to see up to that, right? Even in the sky, we cannot see the below the sky, below the earth. We can see only the above on based on this surface. But when you see upper, that there are several. We see only one sun, one star, which is very close to us, which helps us to give some energy. So there is said to be, like, the star world. There is called the millions of stars already there, and that means there are several worlds also there. This is one world what we are here, but in general we have three worlds here. In Earth is one world, air and sky. Like, differentiate, like, the Bhuloka, Bhumandala, Vayumandala, Nabhomandala. Or if you go further, Tara Mandala, like in a star world. But if we go beyond that, and again that we don't know, that we see a minute stars in our vision, but it is same as sun, or maybe larger than that, right? So those are all, that's like a gift God has given. He created and he forgot. It is his own property. In our daily life, if we have any property, okay, we don't wait. We keep on finding the people who belongs to that. We keep on finding the relationship between the property, the value of the property, and we fight for that always, right? But here God has given this property, so He is the only one owner, and He is the only one who gives and forgets. So we are also forgotten that. Because of the complete forgetfulness, man can strive eternally to the love God, and remains the eternal beloved from mankind. Okay, so this has a little bit more explanation about how the love of God is to be manifested here. God remains the eternal beloved for mankind. He just remains, like, we say eternal beloved God. We may offer prayer, we may offer some fruits, we may offer a flower, we may garland him, we may manifest, we may do anything, like, those are all just because we he is our beloved, and we have love on God, and that love is showing in the way of prayer. Okay, same way, like, it has little bit explanation. How can God, who is omniscient, forget, right? He is omniscient, he is completely occupied all over, he is omnipresent, and he is in everybody, he is in every corner, every atom, he is in everything. How he can remember? I mean, he forgot this. Like, how can God, who is omnipresent, forget this? Right? What he created, he forgot. Why and how? Because unless he forgets the gift he bestowed upon man, cannot be the real gift that it is. So if he bestowed, or if he bestows upon man without forgetting, that becomes something, what is called, it is not the real gift, so we can say cannot be a real gift. So if God comes, hey, I have given this life, if you don't do this, I will kill you, or if you don't do this, I will take your life, if you don't do this, I will take all your property. God never said that. That is how is the beloved is. He has given the life and never ask you back. Similarly, he is forgetting. If he don't forget, or if the gift he is bestows upon man cannot be the real gift, and that it is man too, he is left the ignorance of the operation of the gifts through which he ultimately realizes his godhood. So when the man here in the finally one station, one meaning as cannot be a real gift. So man also, that is going to be ignorance of the operation of the gift, of this gift. He is completely ignorant of that gift, what he has given this body, this mind, this superpower, this the soul with me, and he is helping you in a way that to operate this life, right? Through which the humanity ultimately realizes his godhood. It takes time. It is not one day. When human born in the very beginning, that he cannot realize. In the beginning, the initial urge, man cannot realize God. Man is still in a baby stage, in the beginning stage, in the very initial stage, and ultimately he realizes the gift of God. This how beautiful this gift is. When the omniscient bestows the real gift of love, he manifests his complete forgetfulness of it by apparently becoming callous towards his lovers. Okay, callous towards his lovers. So omniscient means is just like a omniscient. If I go with so is fully knowledgeable, right? Omniscient means he is omnipotent, omniscient, and he is knowledge itself. Finally, he is the knowledge. That knowledge itself is the omniscient. He is knowing. He knows all. He knower of the past, present, and future. All the uh, three or trio nature, like three natures of this uh, past, present, and future. All the three. That is why omniscient. We say God has omniscient means He knows everything totally. So He knows everything. Or the further what is saying omniscient bestows means He gives you the gift, the real gift of love. He manifests his complete forgetfulness of it by apparently becoming callous towards his lovers. What is that again? Callous towards, yeah, this is another meaning, callous towards. So he have a showing or having intensive and cruel disregard for others. It is not in disregard, but it is he has given the life intensely. He is trying to forget. He don't try to forget, but he is obviously is going to callous towards his lovers, becoming callous. Like apparently, becoming forgetfulness is a very big manifestation. We human don't do that, the forgetfulness. We don't forgive people, we don't forgive ourselves, we don't respect other people, we don't respect ourselves. These are all human characters, but the God himself has this forgetfulness, is what is called the callous towards the lovers. It is very difficult for human to manifest this to forgetfulness. Hence the untold sufferings on the path of love that are experienced by the lovers of God, as also the unimaginable pangs of separation felt by them for their only beloved God. So the love of the experience and what we experience, the love from the God, also alter an unimaginable pangs of separation. So here the pangs of separation is a very the spiritual word. hmm, Pangs means we have a kind of distressful, or we miss the God. Like we have what is your pangs in your heart. We feel that we separated. We may experience that, okay, if the God has given this life and we forget, we may feel that pangs of a separation felt by them for their only beloved. So the way you pray with your heart, the separation between the God and the human is the gift what we forget, right? So that is how it is going to be. Pangs of separation. Because God is omniscient and knows the real meaning of the real gift, he becomes callous towards his lover who, absorbed in the profound depth of God's love, because oblivious that he loves him and that it is a gift from him, and hence love him ever more intensely. They are giving that love God and love God intensely, because still we have that our love to him and that it is a gift. So what we love, on the other hand, Meher Baba has given more explanation about what is the real love, what is to love God means in a different context. Okay, so that is how to love God and become God. So loving each other with a brotherly manner, love one who you cannot love. It's very difficult in this world, in the corruption of this untouchability, or any kind of, the color, creed, caste, religion problem. There is a problem, like, the people who cannot love, like they have their mindset, we are superior, some people are not superior, they are poor, or religiously or caste, in the caste they are low. So like, if you have that in mind, there is no way that you can love people, just you can act like loving, but it is not a real love. So love people who you cannot love is a loving God. That means you are loving God means, it is not like you are doing prayer, you are offering a millions of dollar donations, you are offering something called gifts, or you are offering any manifestation worship thing. Those are all not considered to be a love God. You are loving God means you have to love God in loving others. Real happiness lies in making others happy, like God Meher Baba has also given that. Same way, gift from Him, hence it is a love for Him, and even more intensely. So you are more intensely means, it doesn't mean that you sit for a long prayer, you sit for a long day meditation. That is not intense love for God. Meditation is your only sense gratification. It is for your interest, your like, you need something, your desires to fulfill your desire. But intense loving for God is different angle. It is totally humanity, comes in the humanity. It is this forgetfulness which arouses in the lower and the unlaid pangs of separation, and consumes him in the ever growing fire of this incomparable love, from which he emerges in the image of his beloved in trumpet and the eternal unity. Okay, so that is very, forgetfulness is not a drama. It's some completely, it is God's action, and that you have taken as an action arouses in the lovers what is called unlayered or unallayed pangs, your sufferings, like, your sufferings to God. That means you are doing service to God in the way that you are serving others, in the way that you serve people like one who you cannot serve. You are giving the gift to the people who are incapable of doing something, right? In a way that you forget whatever you give. Similarly, God is saying that God has given this life, and you have to forget that in a way that you are doing, giving love to God in the way services. So the pangs is very meaningful, that is your sufferings for God, that you are disconnected, the way we separated from God, right? So there are so many things that how the God is separated from the man, even though the soul and the oversoul, the soul and Paramatma, Paratpara Brahma are same, and still we have a differentiate between the human and the God. So the differentiation is very, very hard to understand. So if you understand, start trying to understand, that is, you are in the beginning of the God consciousness. You are understanding the situation of God. So there we can realize what God is given to us, right? So the way what I am speaking is maybe you feel little difficult to understand. So that is the beginning of understanding God. Don't worry, you will get there, because the spirituality is not one day lesson. It is not like a one event. It is eternal. It is continuous, evergreen. It is always to be practiced every day, every minute, every second. You have to be conscious of what the gift of God, what is the gift that we are into, and what are our responsibility in terms of forgetting gifts or in terms of remembering gifts. The love to the God is gift. So how to love God, we have another the details about in detail how to love God and whom to love God, who is God, where is God, how is God, all that comes into picture. So remember, God gift is one thing that he can only offer gifts to people. So the real gift is the real one. Once you give the gift, forget the gift, forget what the giver and both the receiver. So don't associate the things that the rich people or poor people or the company we work for or any financial transactions that you already have, any debits you have, all that is not gift. Those are all you have to perform worldly duties, whatever you are engaged into. You cannot consider them as a gift. God is given this life as gift. So we have to serve what we have. And once you give the gift, forget. Don't think that you don't expect any returns for that gift. So that way. Okay. So let me hang on this one. So finally, I'm coming to end today's live. I will upload this to my YouTube channel, and then you can watch it later, because my the subscription is initiating tomorrow. That live go live is activating. I'm not sure. I have created yesterday's video also, that is still showing in a private mode. I will make it public. So if you have any questions, comments, please chat and like and share. So that way everyone on the same platform where we are understanding the reality and truth, what is called real spiritual living. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.